Siamo qui con Gary Levinson, che è il creatore del marchio Blade, che adesso è qui per presentare dopo tanti anni e tanti modelli di elettriche anche la sua gamma di acustiche. Intanto ci racconta qualcosa su come ha cominciato. So when did you start building acoustics?
I started doing work on acoustics in 1964. It actually all started with a country and western singer who had gotten drunk that night. He fell off the stage and landed on his guitar and crushed it. And he came to me and said, "Can you fix this?" And I said, "Sure, no problem." I didn't really know how I was going to do it at that time. So I said, "Okay, let me give it a try." And then he decided he was going to buy another guitar. And so I took that home and I took it completely apart, put it back together again, made some changes on bracing patterns and so on. And I had so much fun that I started going around. You know, in the U.S. they have what they call garage sales and backyard sales when people want to get rid of their junk. I found all sorts of great old broken guitars, and so I started restoring them. Well, the more I worked on this stuff, the more I realized that there were different things you could do to change the tone to make the guitars more unique. And then I started building. I actually built. I guess my first acoustic guitar, the one that built from scratch, would have been 1972. And I tried different shapes. I mean, if you take a look at these guitars, for example, they've got, with the cutaway, this has a much rounder shape, and I used different bracing patterns and tried different woods and having bridges that would change the way that it drove the top. And it was all a matter of being able to look at this strictly from a tonal standpoint. What can I do to change the way the guitar will react? Because I wanted something that would react very quickly, so that when you're finger picking or you hit it with a pick, it happens quickly. But I wanted something that would be balanced in sound. And that's the background then for the Gary Levinson acoustic guitars.
So can you tell us where they are built? Was the line of production of these guitars?
These guitars are actually made in China. But it's a special production. I mean, everybody says China's China, but it's completely different depending on how it's done. And we have several proprietary construction methods that we use here to make things just a little bit different. For example, all the tops are, I call it voicing. We change the thickness of the top at various places on the top of the guitar, so that when the bridge is going to rock like this, and it's going to rock like this. And by making the top more flexible, I get more movement. It's like a larger amplitude, so I can move more air. I can use my braces better to create other sounds in the course of the top. I can balance things out. Because if you think about a normal dreadnought, they tend to be boomy in the bass, and you never really get a nice even transition to the treble. But we've managed to be able to balance this out a lot more.
It's not a traditional X bracing.
It actually is an X bracing, but it's made again thinner in some places, thicker in others. And the idea behind the bridge was to have something, as I was saying, that would rock so it gets thinner here. By having this roundness in it, the thing works to drive the sound from the middle on out to the sides of the guitar. These points are always located right in the middle of the brace. So the points on the edge of the bridge are always located, so the point transfers the rocking pressure directly to the brace.
Yeah.
So I can actually tune the top now both with my brace and by thinning the edges.
So are there other specifics, other characteristics that are specific on these guitars, special things that you developed?
The most important thing at the top is the tuning along the edges of the top, and the bridge, and the way that it works the braces.
Okay. So what kind of models do you have? Dreadnoughts?
We named the guitars. The series of guitars are named after rivers. Okay, and it's all started with a river called the Sangamon. The shop that I had in Champaign-Urbana in Illinois, there was a small, very nice river that ran next to it called the Sangamon, and the Sangamon model, it's a smaller body guitar, but it's very resonant. It brings a lot of clarity, and you can actually, if you hold the guitar, you can feel the guitar vibrating now.
I can feel it.
All I have to do is talk at it, and the whole guitar starts to resonate because of the way we build it. I like the clarity of a small body guitar,
right?
But when this is the Greenbrier. This has your standard about 10 centimeter thick sides. If you take a look at this though, it's much deeper. This goes up to 12.5 centimeters. What I can do, if you would take this, great for finger picking style, but if I hit a chord, I can't move enough air and it compresses. I'll also never get a full bass out of it. By adding the volume, I change the timbre of the instrument, and I can actually take this. It'll respond quickly to something like fingerstyle guitar, but if I take and hit a strong chord on it, I can drive the air on this thing, and you get balance over the entire frequency spectrum, and that's what I was really looking for. I get better balance on a dreadnought now than most dreadnoughts do by using these techniques. But we just, 10cc is on tour right now, and John Goldman and Mick Wilson are playing my guitars. They do a 30-minute acoustic set in the beginning. And the thing that was so exciting for me, Mick plays this, and John plays a dreadnought, and when they're playing together, you can actually hear how this guitar fills out this one, and this guitar fills out the bass in this one, and it just sounds huge, absolutely huge.
You have a proprietary amplifying system, or do you use other brands?
Well, on the electroacoustics, we use either the Fishman Precis Plus, because I like to have the phase adjustment in it. And on the Yukons here, these are again using my thicker sides and backs, and I call it a mini jumbo. I don't like jumbos because they lose definition. On these we use the LR Baggs Element. I just like the tonal. It seems to work better in this from a tonal standpoint. That's what's called the Yukon series for the Yukon River in Alaska.
Are the woods solid or laminated?
No, they're all solid woods. I use Sitka spruce on the dreadnoughts. I use Sitka spruce on the Greenbrier because it's a little bit harder, and I want this to have a nice dry sound to it. On the Sangamons and the Yukons, I use Engelmann. Engelmann's a little bit softer, and I can drive a bit smaller body guitar much better with it, and it gives me more warmth. It gives me more warmth. So, and we usually make the guitars, we basically use three woods. We'll use striped mahogany. Yes. Then we use Ovan Call, which you can see an example of right here. Ovan Call is a bit more figured. It's a harder wood than the mahogany is. It's more brilliant than mahogany, but not as brilliant and powerful as the rosewood. So
it's a little bit like koa.
Yeah, it's a little bit like koa. It's not quite as soft as koa, but it's a little bit like koa. And then, of course, we'll use the Brazilian rosewood for the top of the line here. Brazilian, excuse me, I didn't mean to say Brazilian.
You said Brazilian? You said Brazilian? No.
East Indian rosewood, of course, is what I meant to say. And that way the player has the choice of picking out the tonal characteristic that fits his style of playing and the type of guitar he wants to play. And I've always said, okay, you know, the rosewood is more expensive than the mahogany, but to say it's better, that's like saying that someone's idea of tone is better than someone's else.
Right. Okay.
But I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with this.